what would your kind of advice be to someone that's listening to this and they're either thinking of starting a podcast, or they're a similar point to Stuart and myself in this 7th episode, and they're going, what can I do to improve the quality of my podcast itself?
I think first and foremost, it would be like have an honest conversation with yourself about a few things, like how much time can you actually allocate to this? Because there's no silver bullet to success or anything like that in anything, let alone podcasting. I think that's why there's so much podcast fatigue, and people do it. I'm going to start a podcast because that's the new thing. It's going to make me rich and all that. Whereas actually, it's better.
Well, and it's easy as well, right? I keep
right?
saying the barriers
Yeah,
are
it's
so low.
easy.
Anyone could do a podcast.
Yeah, it's podcasting is easy. No, it's not. Like I'm still working on how to like do a good interview or an intro and outro. Me and Fran, we debate on what the intro should be like and outro should be like all the time. Because I have my way of thinking we should do it, and then like it depends on the time constraints that we've got on that. But actionable, I think honest conversation with yourself about how much time you can allocate to it, and then also decide like, well, what's your podcast going to be about, and then why are people going to listen to it? There's going to be two reasons why they listen to it. Either you're an infectious personality that people could listen to talk about anything, in which case you're a bit of a superstar and you'll make it in any kind of form of communication and storytelling platform, or are you bringing value to the listener through the actual, are they going to learn something from this podcast? And those are the sort of, you can have either both, which is great. That is the golden ticket, the silver bullet. If you are both a really infectious and relatable personality that people can listen to all the time, and you also bring value to people, fucking hell, you're on to a win there, mate. But you decide which one of those you are, and then create content around that, and then actual actionable things as well. I mean, if you have your podcast just in and out, one of those things, what do you need? A thumbnail. Or what does the thumbnail actually need? It needs like brand identity. It doesn't need to be each one perfectly accustomed to an algorithm or whatever. The ones for the podcast we're working with Modestar, we spent a while deciding on what the look would be. It's an image of the the interviewer on that side, and then you got a picture of them in the middle, and you got an American flag in the background because the topic is American legends. It says American legends on it. It says the name. That's it. It's the same format every time. All you need is a brand identity, not the most beautiful piece of thumbnail art you've ever seen, right? It could even just be simple as like the background is orange and it's you two plus the guest. And that's it. All you need is a brand identity. So when people are scrolling through home pages, they can see it, right? It stands out. They know what to look for. And then after that, if you've got, that's your main podcast. If you want to make a clip, you need the clip chopped out in Premiere. Super simple to do. If you can export a podcast with video anyways, you can do that. And then pre-record like a generic outro and create the script for it. It only needs to be 20 seconds. Chuck that on the end, send it out, and that's it. It's actually doing it is very easy. It's not that time consuming, but it is. If it stacks up when you're doing an episode every week.